The world is witnessing an escalating tension between China and the Philippines, especially in the contentious South China Sea. This maritime region, rich in resources and strategic importance, has become a geopolitical flashpoint. While the Philippines asserts its territorial rights backed by international rulings, China continues to claim nearly the entire sea as its own. In this power struggle, not all countries remain neutral. Many have chosen sides, some backing the Philippines, others firmly aligning with China. Today, we dive into the countries that support China's ambitions, either through strategic alliances, economic dependencies, or ideological similarities. These nations, by action or silence, have given China the diplomatic muscle to push forward with its South China Sea agenda. Number 10. Myanmar. Myanmar's complicated political landscape has led it closer to China, especially following Western sanctions and criticism of its military leadership. In this new dependency, China has become Myanmar's primary source of economic and diplomatic support. Consequently, Myanmar avoids challenging China's regional ambitions. On matters like the South China Sea, Myanmar often supports China's approach or abstains from critical votes. This reluctance to side with fellow ASEAN member the Philippines reflects the influence China wields over weaker neighbors who depend on its economic and political patronage. Number 9. Serbia. Serbia and China have developed a unique friendship marked by political loyalty and economic cooperation. Serbia frequently supports China in international debates, including those involving territorial disputes. In return, China has invested heavily in Serbian infrastructure and technology. When the Philippines pushes its maritime claims through international law, Serbia remains silent or subtly endorses China's right to negotiate bilaterally. This silent endorsement adds to China's narrative that the South China Sea dispute should not be internationalized, undermining the Philippines' legal victories and diplomatic efforts. Number 8. Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe's relationship with China is driven by economic dependency and shared political ideology. Chinese investments in mining, infrastructure, and governance have tied Zimbabwe closely to Beijing. In return, Zimbabwe has offered vocal support for China's sovereignty claims in international settings. The African nation has publicly backed China's One China policy and has extended that support to maritime issues like the South China Sea. While Zimbabwe's stance may seem symbolic, it represents the broader African bloc that often aligns with China against countries like the Philippines in United Nations resolutions. Number 7. Venezuela. Venezuela has forged a deep relationship with China based on economic survival and shared ideological opposition to the West. In international matters, Venezuela often defers to China's stance, including on the South China Sea. While far removed from Asia, Venezuela's vocal support for China helps create the illusion of widespread international backing. This symbolic alliance matters in global politics, where numbers in diplomatic support can shift narratives. By defending China's right to manage regional disputes on its terms, Venezuela contributes to Beijing's legitimacy in its conflict with the Philippines. Number 6. Iran. Iran's support for China stems from mutual opposition to Western hegemony. The two nations have signed comprehensive strategic agreements that include military, trade, and energy cooperation. Iran sees China as a powerful ally against sanctions and international isolation. While Iran has no direct involvement in Southeast Asia, its diplomatic support for China's regional policies, including in the South China Sea, reflects a broader geopolitical alignment. Number 5. Laos. Like Cambodia, Laos has become increasingly reliant on Chinese investments and loans, especially through the Belt and Road Initiative. As a result, Laos tends to support China's positions in international matters, including disputes with the Philippines. Lao leaders have avoided criticism of China's actions in the South China Sea, and in regional forums, they often side with China or remain silent when collective action is proposed. This silence translates into passive support, strengthening China's position and isolating countries like the Philippines that seek stronger opposition to Beijing's claims. Number 4. Cambodia. Among Southeast Asian nations, Cambodia is one of China's most loyal allies. Phnom Penh has repeatedly blocked ASEAN efforts to issue unified statements against China's activities in the South China Sea. Its leadership often echoes China's call for bilateral talks instead of multilateral pressure, a stance that weakens the Philippines' push for international support. In exchange, China provides Cambodia with economic aid, infrastructure investment, and political backing. This quid pro quo relationship has effectively made Cambodia a shield for China within ASEAN, directly undermining Philippine interests in the region. Number 3. North Korea. North Korea's support for China is grounded in ideology and survival. Pyongyang relies heavily on China for trade, political support, and a buffer against Western pressure. In international disputes, North Korea rarely voices independent opinions, choosing instead to back China's narrative. Although North Korea does not have any direct stake in the South China Sea, its alignment with China extends to defending China's sovereignty claims, including those over waters also claimed by the Philippines. This alliance is less about maritime rights and more about preserving a regional bloc opposed to US influence. Number 2. Pakistan. Pakistan has long considered China its closest ally, often referring to the relationship as Iron Brothers. This deep-rooted alliance influences Pakistan's stance on international disputes involving China. Regarding the South China Sea, Pakistan has remained largely silent about China's maritime claims, choosing instead to support Beijing's broader regional policies. This silence is not neutrality, it is a strategic decision to uphold its friendship with China. Pakistan's dependence on Chinese investments and military assistance further cements its alignment, giving China unwavering diplomatic support in conflicts involving the Philippines. Number 1. Russia. Russia and China have forged a strategic partnership that transcends regional disputes. Russia views China as a counterbalance to Western influence, particularly that of the United States. While Russia has not openly criticized the Philippines, it has consistently echoed China's call for bilateral negotiations over multilateral or international legal rulings. Moscow believes in strengthening Beijing's regional dominance, partly because a strong China weakens US leverage in Asia. Through joint naval drills in disputed waters and diplomatic backing in international forums, Russia has shown solidarity with China's position in the South China Sea. The Philippines faces a daunting diplomatic battle in its quest to assert maritime sovereignty. While it enjoys support from various countries, there remains a powerful bloc that stands behind China, some openly, others through strategic silence. These nations are drawn to China by promises of economic gain, shared ideologies, or mutual opposition to the West. As long as this alliance holds, the geopolitical battlefield of the South China Sea will remain tilted in China's favor. For the Philippines, understanding these alliances is critical to navigating the turbulent waters ahead. The conflict is not just about reefs and maritime zones, it's a struggle for influence, identity, and survival in a world increasingly defined by strategic loyalties.